out right. Branch inside. Bradshaw, Stabler back. Here comes the rush. He sidesteps. Can he throw? He can't. The ball flipped forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball. It is all a fumble. Casper has recovered in the end zone. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does.
Welcome to Ladies of Darkness, a member of the Crow's Nest Podcast Network.
Brought to you by DC4L Custom Tees and the Raider Ramble. Make sure you follow them to find our swag and some great content, including our amazing Angria track.
I have been writing, and I wrote an article this week, so check it out.
Yay!
It's about the unnecessary use or even having pass interference. I think it's a stupid thing to have, but that's just me. Anyways, my reasons are several-fold, so read them and tell me what you think.
Cool. I'm gonna.
Yay!
Today on the show, we recap the last couple games, choose a new lady killer, and call out a team leader in Seriously Bro. We've also got some news outside the nation and go over possible roster moves during the off-season in the Heidi game.
Woo! You may hear some baby cooing in the background because the little assassin decided not to go take his nap. And that's perfectly fine because Mommy has had very little sleep over the last 3 days.
Aww.
So the longer he's awake, the more he sleeps at night.
That makes sense.
Yeah. He's still young.
He is.
Yeah. Anyways, how was your weekend, Jenny?
It was good until like 4:30 last night.
Yeah, that was about right. Then it started going downhill. I have to be honest. I don't know how closely you've been watching the games, but I have not.
I watch every second of them, unfortunately.
I'm going to watch the game from yesterday. However, I have been sleeping through the games.
Well, you gotta sleep sometime.
Yep. And that seems to be the only time Jack wants to sleep, so it is what it is. I gotta get rest. I can always watch him later, and that's what I do. So I hear it's awful. We'll get into that, I guess, at some point today.
That's probably why we've been losing, because you are not there.
I'm sorry.
It's all your fault.
I'm sorry. We'll stay awake next week.
Okay, good.
All right.
Like we were gonna lose that game anyway.
Yeah, I woke up going, all right, well, I better watch us get our asses kicked now. So that's pretty much what was going to happen. I knew we were going to lose to the Chiefs. I figured we might lose to the Titans. I think the last two games will probably be okay. But we'll get into that. It's time for team news.
I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution.
Team news. We were blown out in the past 3 games by the Jets, Chiefs, and now the Titans.
Yay!
Yay. I didn't see the Jets one coming. Saw the Chiefs one coming. Didn't really see the Titans one coming.
Yeah.
But we looked great in the first half, and I actually had some hope. And then the second half, it was terrible. Unfortunately, Josh Jacobs was out of the Titans game due to a fractured shoulder. He had been playing on it since week 7 against the Packers. That is incredible.
That is true Raiders OG shit right there.
Yeah. I wasn't disappointed in our running backs, though.
That's good.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not Josh Jacobs, but...
Right. But they are who they are.
Yeah, I didn't complain too much. Darren Waller has led all receivers the past couple games with 7 receptions against the Chiefs and 6 against the Titans. Tyrell Williams has disappeared in the second half of the season and has no stats worth mentioning.
Boo.
Boo! Too bad he's on my fantasy team.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
I was eliminated from playoffs yesterday in fantasy. So.
I believe that Che knocked me out of mine, too. We have our Crow's Nest network league, and Che's... I know, he's the commissioner, and of course he's leading everybody. Screw you,
The
Che.
commissioner always does.
I don't know what that is. That's rude.
It's cheating.
It's like they give him extra points or something. But
Probably.
he did start the wrong quarterback. He started, who the hell was it? Ah, shit, I don't know. He started somebody and got like 20-something points, right? That's pretty good for a quarterback. That's above average, I guess. But Drew Brees was on his bench with 50-something.
Oh, yeah. Mark had Drew Brees on his bench, too.
Oops.
Yep.
Never bench the Brees.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah. One bright spot in the Titans game was wide receiver Gafford made his first NFL catch, a 49-yard touchdown reception, but he wasn't targeted again for the rest of the game. Maybe he should have been.
Perhaps.
Another highlight was a 55-yard interception return by Mo Hurst. That was amazing.
Okay, I didn't know that happened until just now. And that makes me so happy.
He ran so slow. It was adorable.
I bet.
He got as far as he could, and he was so tired. I was really happy for him.
That is a big man to run 55 yards and outrun everybody on the field, apparently.
Yeah, for a little bit. He like kept looking behind him. Am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it?
Just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, it was great. I'm sorry you missed that.
I'll watch it.
Well, the injury bug has hit us hard. Trent Brown missed the Titans game. Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, and now Foster Moreau will likely be held out for the remaining games this year.
Boo.
Yeah.
Speaking of remaining games, this Sunday we will play our last home game as the Oakland Raiders. This is the end of an era, and it's very sad. We'll be moving to Vegas next year, as everyone knows, I hope, upon our new stadium's completion. And the new stadium is amazing. It looks fan-freaking-tastic, but it is really bittersweet. Oakland Coliseum is a shithole, but like everyone says, it's our shithole.
Yep.
And don't talk bad about it.
Aside from calling it a shithole.
Aside from, it's said in love. That's all we need to know. It's all love, baby. Some funny news. Well, interesting news. Former Raiders quarterback Terrell Pryor was arrested for simple assault after being stabbed last week. Shalea Briston, who's 24, has also been arrested and charged with criminal attempted homicide and aggravated assault. A female witness told police Pryor was the aggressor and had been waiting for Briston after she went clubbing with friends. Briston and her friends drove Pryor to the hospital. That was very nice of them. Cops say one of the witnesses was overheard saying Briston was just defending herself and added, "We should have just let him die." Ouch!
Ooh.
Damn, bro. I would really have to know the situation to find out what's going on there, but that sounds shady at best.
Yeah, for real.
Former Raiders running back George Atkinson III has died at the age of 27. He was the son of former Raider George Atkinson. The third had struggled with depression since the death of his twin brother and his mother about a year ago. So that's really sad. Speaking of which, if you or someone you love is struggling with thoughts of suicide or just need to talk, please, please, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. The number is 1-800-273-8255. You can also visit their website at suicidepreventionlifeline.org to chat with somebody. They have trained counselors. You're not alone. There's help available 24/7. And there's, they have people on staff all the time to listen, and that's what they're trained to do. This is all they do. Don't ever feel like you can't reach out, because even if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to your friends, family, whoever, there's somebody on the other line that's willing to listen.
Yep.
So let's have a moment of silence for George Atkinson III. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the rest of the Atkinson family. So sorry about this tragic string of losses. It's terrible. Okay, let's move on to news outside the nation.
You sound so depressed.
Well, that was a depressing bit of news. I mean, it's terrible to talk about. You know, we lost Willie Brown, and we lost Cliff Branch, and those were very sad. But these are men that they had all they lived amazing lives, and they were in, you know, they were in their waning years. And while it was very sad for us to lose them, you know, it's not unexpected when you get up in your 60s, 70s, 80s. And then when you take a kid who's 27 years old, I mean, that's, it's just tragic. It's
really
incredibly sad. So, but let's move on to something happier. Not that news outside the nation, we don't really care about other teams, but we're just going to do it anyways.
To satisfy your passing fancy with the rest of the league, here's the news outside the nation.
Whatever.
Last week, the Bengals, led by quarterback Andy Dalton, earned their first win of the season by defeating the Jets 22-6. Hey, guess what? We couldn't even beat the Jets.
I know.
Our opponent for next week, the Jaguars, were destroyed by the Chargers yesterday, 45-10. Colts kicker Adam Vinatieri will undergo season-ending knee surgery. The future Hall of Famer may have played his last game in the league. That is sad.
It is incredibly sad. This is a man who's won two Super Bowls just off of his own foot, including the one none of us like to talk about, the tuck roll game.
Yeah.
Screw you for that, Adam. But Vinny, you were an amazing kicker. I still love the man.
Well, yeah. The Kansas City Chiefs, boo, clinched the AFC West title this past weekend with our loss and their win over the Patriots.
Screw you.
The Chiefs actually came close to having to forfeit that game after they forgot their equipment for about 35 players on the plane. Once discovered, the plane was quickly rerouted to New England and the equipment showed up just in time.
Can we just talk about that Patriots game for a second?
Sure.
I could never imagine myself saying this, but I watched the game. I watched most of the game. The Patriots got robbed.
Yeah.
They got screwed in a few calls. They were screwed out of probably 14 points. I mean, definitely 7 points. They had to kick a field goal. So those ultimate 4 points would have put them right back where they would need to be. And they wouldn't have had to try to go for that touchdown at the end. They could have gone for a field goal. So, and there was that failed interception or fumble recovery. I can't remember which one. But that was called back and they were robbed of that, basically. So, yeah, Patriots, I'm so sorry, man. I was rooting for you because I hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, I was too.
In other news, the Broncos' rookie QB, Drew Lock, led them into Houston where they shredded the Texans 38-24. That 24 points was kind of fake 24 points because they put that up in a desperate attempt to try to win. The Broncos had already won that pretty handily.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints and the 49ers played a bam barn burner where the Niners finally pulled out a 48-46 victory on a last-second field goal. That was
a good game.
It was. That's why you pay Robbie Gould all that money. So that leg comes in handy. 49ers now hold the number 1 seed in the NFC. Moving on. Lamar Jackson has 4 100-yard rushing games this season, the most for a QB in NFL history. He has also become only the second QB in NFL history to have over 1,000 yards rushing in a season. Do you know who the first one is?
Who?
Michael Vick.
Nice.
Yeah. I think this guy's going to be better than Michael Vick. I don't think he has a bigger arm, but I think he has a better arm. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's a running machine. It's crazy. Carolina Panthers coach Ron Rivera was fired this past week. He will be on the short list, I'm sure, of candidates for several top coach openings this offseason. There's going to be a huge coaching carousel. Jason Garrett's going to, he's all but dead in Dallas, wherever the hell
he needs to be gone.
Yeah, he does. I know you feel that personally because you live with a Cowboys fan.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, call us at 802-328-1867. If that number hasn't been burned into your brain yet, there's something wrong with you.
Obviously. Now it's time for a brand new Heidi game.
It's raining man. Hallelujah, it's raining man. Amen, it's raining man. Hallelujah, it's raining man. Amen, it's raining man. Hallelujah, it's raining man. Amen, it's raining man. Hallelujah, it's raining man. Amen. Amen.
Heidi, as always, thank you for joining us. What do you got for us this week?
Thank you for having me again. The one thing that I am excited about was that we are still playing meaningful games in December.
That's good.
We are not, we're not going to the playoffs. I will say that, from the start. But we're not mathematically eliminated yet.
Exactly.
If the Steelers win and we lose this next week, then we are.
But we're up to week 13 and we still have an outside chance. I mean, if everything fell in the right place, then we could actually make it.
Yeah, it's actually going to be league week 15.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is it 15?
Yeah, because it's week 14.
Oh my gosh. I didn't even watch games this weekend very much. I was sleeping. So, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, whatever you would like to call it, is fine with me. I'm a new mom and I don't sleep very much. So when I can, I do. And oftentimes lately it's been through Sunday games. So.
Yeah. Well, I know you have almost as weird of a sleeping schedule as I do now because you text me at 3 a.m. on a regular basis.
I know. It's fun, right?
Yeah, it is.
Good times.
Because I get bored in the middle of the night when nobody else is there to talk to.
Yeah. Well, I'm usually there.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
So there are a lot of big questions as to who may or may not still be here on the team next year.
Really? Are we talking about any coaches in particular? Because I know there is a very large call for a certain defensive coordinator's head right now.
I believe that either the defensive coordinator will be different in Vegas, or they might give Gunther a pass, with lack of talent and injuries and stuff, and then just wipe out all of his assistants.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, hopefully not Coach Buck, because I love Buckner.
I was just about to say the same thing.
See, I'm reading your mind. Go.
Scary.
I know. It's frightening.
But yeah, I adore Buck. He is awesome. I don't know how much experience he would have in implementing an entire scheme, but I would like to see him be a coordinator one day.
Yeah, I think he's built for it.
And hopefully it would be a coordinator with us, not another team.
Yes.
But I could see Gunther very well being gone. I know that he and Gruden are really good friends. On Hard Knocks, they carpooled together. Mm-hmm. But
and they listened to Metallica in the morning. I remember that.
That was awesome. Mm-hmm. They have really good taste in music, so I'll give them that. That's one thing I like about Gunther.
There you go.
Good taste in music.
Small things.
Yeah, and I could, Olsen could go too. It would just be as a sacrificial lamb. We all know that it's Gruden's offense, and he's the one that makes the calls.
Right. That's why I don't see Greg Olsen going anywhere. I think that would be a waste of money to let him go.
Could you see Jay coming in?
I can. I absolutely can. And I can see him making him an assistant OC or his assistant head coach, whatever it is, coach of the, like a quarterback's coach, or an official title with the unofficial title of being the assistant OC.
I was thinking assistant head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got all the other Grudens over there.
Might as well. Shoot. Family affair.
Yeah, might as well.
So what else you got for us? Who else do you think is on the block?
I think there's a lot of people that are on the block. The number one question and the number one head being called for, our friend, Derek.
Yep. Who, by the way, will show up again later in the show, so stay tuned.
Okay. I honestly don't know if he's going to be with us next year or not.
Mm-hmm.
I have been very concerned with how he's handled himself the last couple of weeks as of the Jets press conference and beyond.
That, I think, is a fair concern. He's just, I don't know about you, but he just seems deflated and just done for.
Yeah, he seems checked out. That quiet passion and fire that he had, I haven't seen that in about 3 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And that worries me. Not just because of, his overall career, but as far as the locker room goes this year.
Yeah, that's a fair concern.
I'm worried that he may have lost the locker room or lost part of the locker room. Who knows?
Yeah.
If he's not with us, he only leaves $5 million in dead cap space next year.
That's not bad.
We would save $16.5 million if we cut him or traded him.
And I'm sure that the goal would be to trade him. And
Yes.
What do you think the likelihood of getting a taker is on that? I mean, I think that Gruden would do it for the right price. And I personally believe there are plenty of teams in this league that could use a quarterback like Derek. And maybe a change of scenery is what he needs.
I think he could be really successful with a change in scenery, as long as that's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure that he wouldn't just retire if he was traded.
Yeah. He's made no bones about the fact that he wants to, what did he say? He wants to make sure that he plays while his kids are young. And, he's going to retire and be a preacher.
And I have to wonder that if you have a team leader, a team captain already thinking in those terms, if it's not already too late.
Yeah, that was my thought too. I think that's fair.
Because as soon as retirement even crosses your mind, it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question would be, is he just talking as in, yes, I plan to do this one day, like some, want to become broadcasters?
Yeah.
Or is he actually really thinking, that's an option for me right now?
Right. Maybe he's venting. Maybe he's just, thinking aloud, and he forgets that he's in front of a microphone and he can't really do that.
Right.
Unless it's something he really it's meaningful to him. So I don't know. I guess we'll see over the course of the next year.
Right. And a change of scenery can make a huge difference for a player.
It can.
Even, I hate to say it, but Amari Cooper,
Yeah.
he needed a change in scenery. And I actually remember when we traded him, I said that I thought he would do pretty good, and he has.
Yeah. And he's not happy anymore, apparently.
Yeah.
And he's a free agent next year. So somebody actually tweeted, we need a number one wide receiver. And I was like, stop it. That's not okay.
Yeah, let's not even go there.
Let's not.
But as we saw in this past weekend's game, Ryan Tannehill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So I love Derek Carr. I love him as a person.
Mm-hmm.
He seems like a really great guy. So I would want him to do well if he did end up going somewhere else, just not against us.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That's like me with Khalil Mack. I mean, before this year anyways. This year he's kind of come up with some douchebag moves, like the whole candy thing.
Right.
At Halloween. That was a douchebag move. But I've always been a huge Khalil Mack fan. He was my favorite player. And I always root for him to do well, except for when they're playing us, you know? So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, I don't know if he's going to be here or not. I really don't. I think that the next 3 games will have a say in that. If we continue to get blown out by 30 points, I think it's less likely that he's here. But he is on a fairly team-friendly contract.
Yeah.
So he very well could stay around, and he could groom a successor.
I think that's the best option. What do you think?
I think they should change the rules and let Trevor Lawrence come out this year.
He could feasibly, right? I mean,
He could.
you can declare early as long as you're eligible, right?
You can declare early, but it's still not allowed. There was that guy from Ohio State. Who was it? Years ago now, that tried to declare after his sophomore season. Something like that. Anyways, he ended up not having much of a career in the NFL, but they didn't let him.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he filed a court challenge and everything.
Interesting.
But as far as a trade partner for Carr, people are saying, oh, yeah, well, maybe we can get a late first rounder for him.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a team that's willing to do that. I think realistically, right, if they could make trades right now, which they can't, realistically, there might be a team that would offer a third.
Okay, so the late first rounder thing, let's be real about this. The late first rounders are teams that are established, that do well in the playoffs, that have a really deep run, or are Super Bowl champions. They already have a quarterback. So late first, that's kind of ridiculous, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So I think a mid to late second, maybe, depending on I mean, maybe Miami would trade for him. Miami's looking like they're trying to rebuild, from the bottom up. Fitzpatrick.
They got Ricky McKenzie.
Well, yeah, and he likes Derek. Fitzpatrick is not that guy. He's a journeyman in every sense of the word. He's there as a stopgap, which is what he is everywhere he goes. So, and I don't even remember. Oh, who? Josh Rosen? Is that the other guy?
Yes.
And he's not doing well enough to beat out Fitzpatrick. So, who knows? They have like a million.
Well for a while.
Yeah, he has his moments. He really does, but they're few and far between, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have 1 million draft picks right now. They're going to take over like half of the first round, so they got plenty of capital to work with.
Very true.
Anyways,
but I have one cut that I don't think you're going to like.
oh,
Gabe Jackson.
No, I actually have kind of seen that rumbling around a little bit because he really has struggled this year.
He really has. And I don't know if it's just he hasn't been healthy, but he has been outplayed by his backup, Denzel Good.
Mm-hmm.
If he were to be cut, it would be 0 dead cap, and it would be a savings of $9.6 million.
Wow.
Yeah. The other one that I could really see having to find another green pasture to roam around in is Tyrell Williams.
That one doesn't surprise me one bit. He was only signed on a 1-year deal, was he not?
No. It was actually a longer deal, but it ends up with 0 dead cap.
Okay,
year.
so we have no penalty if we let him go after the first year.
Exactly.
Nice.
And that would be an $11.1 million savings.
We could maybe afford some really good linebackers with that.
Yeah. And add that to the projected cap of already $73 million that we would have.
Mm-hmm.
We would be getting quite cozy.
Yeah. Quite the opposite of where we were 10 years ago, huh?
Oh, yes. The other one I could see, and I really want to see happen,
Uh-oh.
is Tahir Whitehead.
Aw, poor Tahir. He was...
I love him as a guy.
Yeah.
He's great with the fans. He's fantastic. But
His pass coverage is terrible.
my dead grandmother in a wheelchair could cover better than he does.
You know, you ain't wrong.
Yep, that's right.
You ain't wrong. He was kind of, I just have to tell you, he was kind of my emotional favorite. He was, I was rooting for him because I liked him in Detroit. He did a decent job, and I thought that coming over he'd do well in our scheme and do well with the coaches and such, but it just hasn't panned out.
Yeah.
So.
And he, a few weeks ago, one of my friends tweeted him, I think tweeted him, said, "Hey, today's my birthday." And not only did he tweet back, but he also said, "Hey, I left some tickets for you at Will Call.
Oh, yeah. I remember
for the game
that.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
Gave
awesome.
him sideline passes and everything."
So he's a good guy. You'd hate to see those guys have to go, but he's got to step up his game.
No, and he prays with his wife before games, and I really like him, but as a player, he's just such a liability.
Yep. Unfortunately. Yeah. All right, who else you got?
There's one that we would end up with $8 million in dead cap, but LaMarcus Joyner.
What is up with that dude? I thought he was going to come in and just walk all over people.
Yeah.
Guess not.
Got paid and he got lazy.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. I hate to see it.
Yeah.
But it happens all too often.
And one guy who would also be zero dead cap, but will not be cut or traded, is Darren Waller.
Good. I hope we never get rid of him.
Yeah, he is here for good. Yeah, we have a lot of free agents coming up next year. A huge amount. It's around 30.
Yeah. Well, Gruden likes his one-year prove-it deals.
Yeah, he does. But one of the relics left over from the McKenzie era that I could see not being re-signed is Jalen Richard.
Yeah. I can see that.
Please let us not re-sign Worley.
Oh, Lord. I know.
There are actually people that have been on Twitter saying, he's so awesome, we need to sign him to a long-term deal.
He used to be decent. Are they
watching the same games?
I have no idea. I'm guessing not. Because he used to be a real decent corner. He used to be really solid, serviceable, even better than that. But since he's got to Oakland, he's just, whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like he cares or has that passion or anything like that.
Yeah. Another fella that I know you like very much, who did not have his fifth-year option picked up, Carl Joseph.
Yeah.
I know that he was on the trade block for a while, but when he got hurt, he actually had really endeared himself to Gruden.
Good.
So I don't know if they are going to try to keep him, but we all know that his agent is Joel Siegel, and he will try to get the absolute highest amount of money that he can for him. And I just don't know that we are going to be willing to pay that.
Well, I hope they realize that they have to get the absolute most money for the value. Carl Joseph, I love him. I really do. And I think he's got a lot more that we haven't seen because of the situation. But he's not a top safety. He's a good safety. He's a really good safety. But I hope he doesn't try to get top money for him because he's not going to get it.
Right. One guy that we will be keeping, I'm almost positive, is Richie Incognito.
Yay! I never thought I would cheer for this. Never in a million years. But Richie has definitely endeared himself to me and to, I think, a lot of Raider Nation.
Yes, he has, for sure. Denzel Good, the aforementioned. He will be a free agent. I would love to see him signed for some depth on the line, or even to compete for a starting position.
Yeah. That would be worth it, I think.
Yeah, I could really see that. And another guy on the line who I would like to see them re-sign is David Sharp. Now, it's not because I think he's so great, because I don't. But for depth, and please have him replace Brandon Parker on the roster.
God, yes. Brandon Parker is this year's... What the fuck was his name? Oh my God, the guy that we cut and he went to Denver.
Maurice Claret. That was the guy from Ohio State. I just remembered.
Vidal Alexander, that's who I'm thinking of.
Yes, I remember him.
Good God. All right, so we both got some good memory, you know.
Yeah, we do.
We got some recall there. Good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, so it's not that I love David Sharp so much. Because even at the start of this year, I said I wanted to see David Sharp make the roster. Well, it wasn't because I wanted him to make the roster. It was because I didn't want Brandon Parker to make it. But for some reason, they decided to keep him.
Well, I think they were concerned. I understand. They want to keep this line big and healthy. But Brandon Parker is not the way to do it.
Yeah.
He plays Olay more than he plays, Pancake. I don't get it. But whatever.
And his footwork telegraphs exactly what the play will be.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to point my toe this way.
Yeah.
I'm going to point my toe that way.
If it's a pass play, his right leg is
always pointed out. Yep.
Yeah. And it's always far back, so he has a lot of leverage. You can tell what type of a play it is just by looking at his feet.
That was a knock they had on Colton Miller last year, too. But this year, not so much.
Right.
I think that left half of our line, from Rodney Hudson over, I think is pretty fantastic. Pretty good comparison to the 2016 left half of our line. So, yeah. Anyways. So anything else? Who else you got?
Can we not sign Burfict again?
We're probably not gonna. Especially if Pauly G's on the chopping block.
Yeah. And, Burfict ended up endearing himself to me. He really did. But he has earned himself walking papers as far as the league is concerned, and they will do everything they can to keep him off the field.
Yep. Like Hugh said in our when he was a guest on the show, the best ability is availability, and he doesn't make himself available either by being injured or by being suspended.
Right, and he still has the long concussion history.
Yeah, he does, and there's where that injury part comes in. I mean, we can't count on, especially with the bang bang plays that he does. I mean, we can't count on him not hurting himself again.
Right. So that is really my reservations on him, is just the availability. I actually thought he still had quite a bit of gas still left in the tank, and he was able to contribute. But you can't count on him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just can't count on him. I would love for us to take a top linebacker in the draft this year.
Oh gosh, wait until we get to draft shows. That'll be exciting.
Or get a top linebacker in free agency, although they don't usually make it to free agency.
No, not usually. Well, I don't know. This year was kind of weird, so you never know.
But Gunther doesn't think he needs linebackers to run his scheme.
Screw him. I hope somebody overrules that.
But then again, Gunther also thinks that Cleveland Farrell is better as a defensive tackle than a defensive end.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but I think he was proven wrong.
Yeah.
Clee has come out of the blocks since they've moved him back outside. So.
Yeah, Gunther's just not one of my favorite people right now.
No, I don't blame you.
So.
All right, what else you got for us, Heidi?
Well, I kind of had planned on just going over some of these roster changes, and we've gone over the main ones. I am sorry to say that my Cougar crush, he will not be here next year.
Yeah, poor Keelan.
Yeah, he's not going to be here. I've accepted that.
It's okay. It's going to be okay.
I've committed myself to Darren Waller.
There you go. I think that's a fair commitment, and it's a good one. And he's a really, really good guy off the field. Yeah. He's an amazing player on the field. We need to target him a lot more.
Yes, we do. And I just adore all of our tight ends this year. And it's not just because they're called tight ends.
Oh, there's other reasons? What? No, I agree. We have a really good tight end core. We do. And I think once they get in the groove of things, it's going to show just tremendously. All right, Heidi. Well, you'll be back with us, of course, for our mini show, as long as we get our mini show in. Pray for us.
Absolutely.
So we will have you back, of course, at the mini show, and then, as always, at our next installment of the Ladies of Darkness.
All right, sounds good. I will talk to you guys then.
Thanks, Heidi.
All right.
Thank you, Heidi. As always, you're amazing. Now let's get to the silver and black throwback.
CMPN presents the Ladies of Darkness podcast. It's time to go back to the good old days. Hit that silver and black throwback. Chill. You're listening to a Crow's Nest Podcast Network production. Raider Nation. All Raiders. All the time. Tune in wherever podcasts are found.
On December 1st, 1980, Raiders become first team in NFL history to earn 16 consecutive winning seasons. The 9-3 win over Denver runs the Raiders' Monday Night Football record to 16-1-1, the best record in NFL. 9-3, that's hilarious.
I know. That's a defensive game right there.
For real. Defense wins championships. On December 1st, just 5 years later, in 1985, the Raiders defeat the Falcons 34-24 in Atlanta to clinch 20th winning season in last 21 years. Man, that must be nice.
Yes.
On December 10th, 1990, with a win over Detroit 38-31 in the Pontiac Silverdome, earns Raiders their 275th league game victory, most by any NFL team since 1960.
I'm sure that doesn't stand anymore, but it's amazing. On December 2nd of 2002, Tim Brown joins Raiders teammate Jerry Rice and Chris Carter as only the third player in the NFL history to catch 1,000 passes during a 26-20 win over the New York Jets. Tim Brown, amazing. December 2nd, 2007, the Raiders record their 400th all-time regular season victory with a 34-20 win over the Broncos. See, we sucked, and we still got a win.
Yay!
Yay! December 4th, 2016, QB Derek Carr became the first NFL quarterback with 5 game-winning touchdown passes in the fourth quarter in a single season.
Aww.
Leading the Raiders to a 38-24 win over the Buffalo Bills. I remember that game.
I remember watching that game in 2007 against the Broncos. That was really exciting for me.
You were kind of still a new Raiders fan, huh?
I was. It was my 3rd season.
Nice.
Yeah. And my uncle is a huge Broncos fan, so I got to give him shit for that.
I love rubbing it in their faces. It's amazing.
Yes.
Now let's get down to the lady killer.
Who's the lady killer?
With his 104-yard rushing performance against the Chiefs, Josh Jacobs became the first ever Raiders rookie running back to have a 1,000-yard rushing season. He is the Raiders' first 1,000-yard rusher since Latavius Murray in 2015, which I super miss. I love Latavius Murray.
I do too.
Yeah. He also tied running back Mark Van Egan for the fourth most 100-yard rushing performances during a single season in franchise history. That was funny in that game. They kept saying, hey, he has this 1,000-yard rushing season. Oh, wait, not anymore. Oh, wait, he has it again.
That's what we get for running backwards, huh?
Yeah.
Here he is. There he goes. Here he is. There he goes. Damn it. You know what's funny about that? Tom Brady last year just hit 1,000-yard rushing for his career. And last night, did you see that, by the way? Let's run back to this. Last night, did you see his little run?
No, I didn't watch any of that game last night.
Oh my gosh. It was pretty funny. It was interesting. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was all right. Basically, when Tom Brady runs, you're like, oh God, it's desperate times. And he ran for it was 17 yards or something, and he was so happy with himself. He was like, yeah! He's like the slowest runner in the world. I could run faster than him carrying my infant child. It's pretty bad.
Can Mo Hurst run faster than him?
He probably did. I'm not going to lie. I think he probably did. He certainly ran longer.
I freaked out when Derek Carr ran for 15 yards.
Apparently he didn't do enough running.
No.
So, yeah. Well, Derek, here we come. You know what? It's time. It's time for Seriously, Bro.
You know, we all have our moments. Some of them earn a place on our wall of shame. Seriously, bro.
Our Seriously, Bro this week is Derek Carr. Damn it, Derek. You're making it hard to defend you or still even want you to be our starting quarterback. Pissing me off. Seriously, bro.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but you're pissing me off too.
It's really difficult. So, during the Jets game, he completed 15 of 27 attempts for a whopping 127 yards. One interception, passer rating of 52.5. He was pulled in the third once we were down by 31 points. In his defense, that was probably just to avoid injury, I am certain, because they pulled Josh Jacobs too. So let's not read too much into that. But we sucked. It was terrible. Mike Glennon, by the way, he was the one that fumbled twice in 3 snaps, not Derek Carr. Some guy said to me, how do you think we have a good quarterback when that guy fumbled twice in 3 snaps? And I'm like, okay, well, first of all... I obviously did not see the neck discrepancy because that was Mike Glenn.
The draft. Do they watch the games or?
I'm guessing not. Maybe they watch the games, but they turn it down and they don't pay attention to the numbers or the names on the back or anything. I don't know. Perhaps they just read stats. But even the stat, how do you fuck that up? Seriously, bro? How do you fuck that up? You suck. Anyways, during the Chiefs game, Carr completed 20 of 30 attempts for 222 yards with 1 garbage time TD and 2 interceptions for a passer rating of 71.9. This is a guy that was hovering over 100 for the 3 games before that. What the hell? The Titans game yesterday, Carr ended his day completing 25 of 34 attempts for 263 yards with 2 TDs for a passer rating of 115.2. I think that sucked ass. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know. I don't know what to say. Seriously, bro. And it's not just we're not looking at his stats because that stat was great. Fantastic. He did a good job. He threw, 260 yards. That's awesome. The big complaint is that he threw the ball away on 4th and goal from the 2. The 2! Mm-hmm. He could have run that shit in. I've seen the pictures.
I yelled at him for that.
Why didn't you run, Derek? Seriously, bro? I don't get it.
I don't
get it. What the hell's wrong with you? There are so many people calling for your head. that right now it's hard to even wonder why. I don't know. Seriously, bro. It's difficult for me not to agree with them at this point, because on the presser yesterday, apparently he was incredibly defeated and upset, and was kind of negative, like, oh, might as well just hang it up, or whatever he said. I don't know what he said. I didn't watch it because I was depressed and I didn't want to get into that. So, Derek, I need you to step it up. We need to see the Derek Carr of 2016, the one who wasn't afraid of getting his leg broken. You know why? If you do, you do. It happens. Let's not try to have those rumors persist about Andrew Luck coming out of retirement and coming to the Vegas Raiders. That's bullshit, by the way. If you think that's going to happen, you obviously weren't paying attention. Andrew Luck retired for a reason. And as Heidi mentioned in our network chat, there's like no way that we're going to pay the amount of money that it would cost us to buy out Andrew Luck's contract from the Colts. The dude's hurt all the time, et cetera, et cetera. Anyways, seriously, bro, Derek, get your shit together.
For real.
This is crazy.
I will say, though, that he looks a lot less scared this year than he did last year.
He does. And I've seen him run, and I've been impressed. But why aren't you running then? Why aren't you running more often? That was an easy touchdown. I mean, yeah, we were losing. We got our asses handed to us. But, give us a little bit of hope. Give the fans a little bit of something to say, okay, well, he's trying. But seriously, bro, like, why can you not just do what you were doing before? I know we had shitty coaches. I know you've had a lot of them. But you know what? Some of us go through some shitty jobs over and over again, and then you find the right guy, you find the right place, you find the right scheme, and it all works. And you got to trust that Gruden he's got the best in mind for you. Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept you. He has cut just about every other person that Reggie McKenzie had drafted or signed. Almost every other person. Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson. I can't think of anybody else. Off the top of my head, that's it, man. Oh, God. Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. This depressing, boring, terrible, terrible week of football.
Well, thanks for joining us on Ladies of Darkness, a Crow's Nest Podcast Network production. If you're interested in donating some money to keep the ladies in the dark, please do so. Our PayPal link will be up on all of our social media accounts. Make sure you listen to all of our CNPN shows, The Pillaging Podcast, East Coast Nation, CNPN Blackout, Put on Waivers, Inebriation, and the Crow's Nest Podcast.
Coming soon, more of us, with Little Jack joining our family. We're working on figuring out the right formula, the length of episodes. I think I said this last time, but we're still working on it. Make sure you subscribe to us in your favorite podcast app to get all of our shows. They'll give you the little dingy thing. I get a little dingy thing every time we post something. I don't know if you guys know what a dingy thing, but it is a technical term for a notification. Anyway, I love it. Please, again, give us a call. We need voicemails. We want to hear from you. 802-328-1867. And keep an eye out on social media for upcoming events and giveaways. Make sure you get in on the action. And that is it for us this week. Hopefully we will see some more winning coming up. Let's win out, okay? Let's do it. Are you ready?
Go Raiders!
Go Raiders.